Welcome to the Phoenix Trainer. I'm Patrick, and welcome to the 100-inch gym. Kind of like the 100-acre wood of Winnie the Pooh, except it's tiny, square, and in my garage. Today I want to talk about intra-abdominal pressure, the Valsalva maneuver, and I guess the good, bad, and the ugly of both of those. Let's go ahead and start with, I wrote down the definitions of both, and I wanted to go ahead and read them directly. So, intra-abdominal pressure is the steady state pressure within the abdominal cavity resulting from the interaction between the abdominal wall and the viscera, and which can change with respiration phase and abdominal wall resistance. The Valsalva maneuver is forced expiration of an inhale of air against a closed glottis. So when you hold your breath but you have your mouth open, right? That's the closed glottis, okay? Tightening and compressing of the core muscles and pelvic floor, which leads to the increase in abdominal pressure. So this is something, as far as the Valsalva maneuver is concerned, this is something we do innately. If you've ever lifted a really heavy weight, you got a big rock or whatever it is, if it's something that's really heavy, you'll tend to take in a big breath of air and hold your breath as you're trying to pick this up. So what's happening when you do that, you're taking that big breath of air and then you're bracing yourself, you're tightening up, okay? So the abdominal walls, the back muscles, the pelvic floor, all of that is being compressed and then tightened, okay? So you're increasing that intra-abdominal pressure. And the reason that's beneficial, the reason you do it innately, is it helps stiffen the core. It braces you a lot more. So you'll see this in people that are lifting, doing a heavy squat or a heavy deadlift, those type of movements where they'll take a really big deep breath of air and hold it, and what they're doing is they're increasing their intra-abdominal pressure. You know, of course, by also tightening their abdominal wall muscles. Another way you can work this is by wearing a weightlifting belt, which you can actually press against as you're doing the Valsalva maneuver. However, then you're really not engaging the core muscles all that much, which is why there's kind of a controversy about wearing weightlifting belts. Old school, weightlifting belts were definitely always the way to go. Now the more talk is not using a weightlifting belt. I'm a little old school, so I tend to use a weightlifting belt at this point still. I want you to imagine another way to explain it. The way it works is think of a soda can. And if you think of a soda can that's empty, right, that's been opened and the contents have been removed. And if I were to drop a 45-pound weight on that soda can, it's basically going to collapse. It's going to crush right down. If I have another soda can that has not been opened, right, it still has the contents and it's under a little bit of pressure, and I drop that 45-pound weight on there, obviously not from like a couple stories, but just a couple inches over the top of it, it's going to hold that weight. It's not going to collapse. The danger, I guess the ugly part of someone who has an ostomy is that we cannot create that intra-abdominal pressure without, having an issue, okay? Without basically, suffering the consequences of possibly getting a hernia or a prolapse or something like that. The way I go about it, because I still squat. I mean, my surgeon told me absolutely don't ever squat. I squat right now around 220. I plan on kind of going up from there. I lift, normally as beyond that. I don't hold my breath. I think the intra-abdominal pressure part of it, creating that additional pressure, is what's really going to cause the problem, right? Because now we have an opening in our abdominal wall, and that's going to cause an issue if I put pressure against that wall. It's going to cause a lot of issues. So I don't hold my breath. I did another post about increasing your abdominal strength through planks. Someone had replied back that their surgeon had told them it was really dangerous to do a plank if you had an ostomy. I would disagree with that from the standpoint, I think the surgeon was maybe thinking that you hold your breath during a plank. You absolutely do not hold your breath during a plank. Some people will hold a plank for minutes on end, some people even hours. You need to do a steady state breathing when you're holding a plank. I do the same thing when I do a squat. I breathe when I do a squat. I tighten my core muscles, but I don't push out. I don't increase that intra-abdominal pressure. One of the things that can increase intra-abdominal pressure, or that can put you more at risk, is if you have a lot of visceral fat. So not subcutaneous fat, fat that's underneath your skin, between the muscle and the skin, but fat that's actually mixed with your viscera. That's going to increase your intra-abdominal pressure. So if you've got, a big beer belly, as a lot of people would refer to, you're going to automatically have increased intra-abdominal pressure. It's going to be more risky for you to, one, do the Valsalva maneuver, and especially if you do have an ostomy, you're already starting from a point where you've got increased intra-abdominal pressure. So anything additional beyond that is going to be risky as well. So if you're looking to reduce that, the first thing you do is to lose weight, is try to get rid of all that visceral fat. That's going to be the hardest fat to get rid of, unfortunately. That's where your body wants to store fat. All of my weightlifting friends out there that don't have an ostomy, creating intra-abdominal pressure is definitely going to help stiffen the body, be able to support more weight, enable you to squat or deadlift the weight that you're looking to push. For people that have ostomies, that's another situation. You need to stay away from that. Don't increase your intra-abdominal pressure. Now, I do wear a weightlifting belt when I'm lifting some heavier weight, especially when I'm doing squats. But I'm careful still not to push against that belt when I'm doing my squats. I am still concentrating on breathing evenly to not to increase that intra-abdominal pressure. It's the real enemy of someone who has an ostomy. You want to stay away from that. I think if you can lift all you want. It's not the weight that's causing the problem. It's the intra-abdominal pressure. It's the increase. It's when you force that, and that's one of the reasons that the surgeon was telling me not to do squats, and I'm sure a lot of you have had the same advice. If you're doing a squat, you're standing up, and as you're going down, you're compressing. So you're already, creating extra pressure internally. And on top of that, if you are holding your breath when you go down, you're creating a lot of extra pressure. So I really believe that's one of the reasons he was telling me to stay away from that. As long as you don't hold your breath and you breathe evenly, I think it's a lot safer to go ahead and perform those types of moves. But of course, you want to consult with your physician before, he may obviously completely disagree. And if you're already overweight, that's going to be an issue. So I hope this has created some additional understanding of intra-abdominal pressure and the Valsalva maneuver and how it can benefit or hinder or possibly be dangerous depending on your circumstances. But like I said, it's definitely something that we do innately. But if you do have an ostomy, it's something you want to kind of override and not perform that particular maneuver when you're lifting weights or when you're even around the house moving stuff around. It will definitely increase your possibility of you getting a hernia. Anyway, if you have any questions, please respond with any questions you may have, and look forward to doing another video. So I was thinking for the next several videos, I was going to do some demonstrations of exercises you can do at home with very minimal equipment to help increase your strength, increase your endurance, really work on abdominal and core strength. So if you have an interest in that, please leave me feedback and let me know if that's something you're interested in watching, as I'm thinking about actually doing a series of exercises that you can really perform with really inexpensive equipment, or even just body weight alone. Stay strong, stay safe.